Hey everybody, it's Ruben Lowing. It is Thursday, um, lunchtime here at the Northwest Houston office of WSB and WFG. So there's a there's a process, okay, and it's not just with this business; it's with everything, okay. And I was just on uh, a podcast with the Intellectual Outlaws, and they kind of hit on this, right? So when you're learning something for the first time, you are not going to be good at it right out of the gate, right? And you got to understand that you have to be trained. And Roy Jones Sr. used to say that when you learn things the hard way, those lessons they stay with you the rest of your life. You never forget them. But the problem with it is when you learn it the hard way, it's the hard way. You can't do anything with that information, that new knowledge, except teach it to somebody else. It's better to learn from somebody else's mistakes. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of times in my life, um, I've had to make my own mistakes. Right. And I know them and I've learned them and I know how to head them off for other people to keep them from happening to them. So when you have a process, okay, and you're talking to people, I used to be, when I was a venture capital broker, they gave me a script. These guys have been doing this for a long time and they knew what they were doing. Man, but the people I'm talking to, they were not on the script, right? But finally I found one guy that got on the script, right? And he followed along, right? And he turned out to be a flake, right? But his wife referred me to her boss, right? And I made more money in that with that guy than I ever did with anybody else, right? And and that's when I'm like, oh man, I don't care if they say no or not. I'm going for that referral. Referrals are golden. I close. If you ask for the exact person you're looking for, 60% of the referrals you get are going to close. In my case, that happened, right? So I'm thinking about our business. I'm like, golly, this is um, this is hard talking to housekeepers, right, or the cashier at the whatever the business you just come making conversation going through the checkout line, right, or paying your bill at the restaurant, right, the waitress, right. But then I meet somebody in the mall from Columbia, and that's what she's doing. She's cleaning houses. Bam! She sees an opportunity to do something more, make more money. She's out. She's excited about that. The big challenge is yo no habla, right? And so I'm like, wow, and that's what it is. It's the desire. Okay, when you've got the desire, right, and you can establish the trust, all right, people will learn from you. And in this business, you teach them the right thing, they'll do the right thing. All right. But you gotta have the trust and you gotta have the desire. Okay. Now I'm looking at Eric Lofholm's gonna give him another plug here. His sales mountain strategy, right, which is pretty interesting. Um, the in the process, it's just not as simple as setting the appointment, building rapport, going over the benefits, right? Um, each step there's a process in that process. Okay, so I know my process for approaching contact. That's why I was able to get 114 new contacts last month. Okay, but then turning those, it's kind of like being a free fall jump master, right? Everybody wants to skydive, right? but they almost never do it in a real world situation. Why? Because once you jump out of the back of that C-130 or that 141 at 30,000 feet at night with all your gear on, anything could happen, and it usually does get into the ground. Okay, the it's you lose control, right? So Bernadette, my CEO, she's telling me that you set the follow-up appointment on the initial contact. Hey, the people are going to, they're gonna or they're not. So you got to have, and this is where that whole value proposition comes in. They got to hear that they're going to get something of value for them, or they're not doing it. Okay, so generating lead, that's easy. Okay, appointment setting, you better have rapport. What does that mean? Okay, they got to have trust. They got to trust you, and you better figure out that they got a desire to get what you're offering, right? That's either to do better with their money, have a better way to save their money, that's going to do what they want it to do, all right, or a way to make more money. Okay, you better make that clear. Okay, that appointment ain't going to happen. Okay, so that trust rapport appointment setting, the trust rapport I think needs to be before the appointment setting. All right, that appointment isn't going to happen. Okay, then identifying the consumer needs, that's sure enough what that better happen. You probably better have that happen before the appointment, and you better mark it down. You better make sure that's what you're talking about. Okay, then you share on the appointment. That's when you share the benefits of what we have and what we're talking to them about, right? And then you ask for the commitment. You ask for, start filling out that application. All right, start getting their information to, to pay that premium, or fund that annuity, or fund that policy, right? Or get started with their company 401k or their defined benefit plan, or whatever, right? Okay, and then they're gonna lie. What drives me crazy is that buyer's remorse. Okay, so you got to kind of head that off at the pass, right? You got to kind of address those questions that are going to gnaw at them before they gnaw at them. You address them first. Okay, and then if the objection hand, if you do them enough, you're gonna know the response. No problem. And that's another thing. It's like Roy Jones seniors say, somebody hits you with their best punch and doesn't appear to do anything to you, they'll stop throwing punches, right? Somebody gives you an objection, you're like, oh yeah, I hear that a lot. This is what we found out, right? This is how this works, right? And you didn't seem to phase you, and it'll settle them down. Okay. And then asking for the referrals, putting in their mind where people are, family, friends, neighbors, kids, friends, parents, people that you work with, people that have done this, people that just, they're working hard, but they just can't seem to get ahead, right? Man, I want to talk to those people, right? Because I can show them how to break through, right? All right, and then you got to follow up, man. People die on the vine all the time. Got to have that follow. That's why a good CRM. That's why I like Agent CRM. It's a good one for a whole bunch of reasons. I like it that I can put in the notes. I can put a conversation log, a date. I wish I had an automatic date timestamp, but I can just type the date and time and then comment. So when next time I call them, we can pick up where we left off. All right. I hope that helps. If it does, go ahead and share it.